They like to think they're the best. Their culture is a warrior spirit.
We consider ourselves warriors. We have an obligation to be the most ready when the nation is the least ready, and do the kinds of things that our country would ask of its elite warriors.
The Marines are smaller than the other major military services. They're more oriented on combat.
Throughout history, at times, killing is necessary.
The Marines run to the sound of the guns.
Marines understand that what they do is a brutal business, but they never lose their humanity.
They're the most ancient of all the armed services. I say ancient, not primitive. They're arguably the most functional of all the armed services. They're a cult that works. They're a gang that's lawful.
To me, it's the baddest fraternity on the planet that you can belong to.
Semper Fidelis, always faithful. Marines, more than any service unit, emphasize that notion of camaraderie. A kind of specialness and a special camaraderie to each other.
There's a myth out there that the Marines are Neanderthals. I actually find the Marines very intellectual.
Roger that. Okay, Watts, I want...
Marines, I firmly believe, are idealists to their core, who really, truly believe that they can, in some way, help make the world a better place. They live in such a tough world that they have to cloak their idealism in a shell just to survive.
The professional warrior has a very strong emphasis on a code of ethics. Integrity, morality is a big factor.
Our core values, honor, courage, and commitment. That's the foundation of that ethos.
Repeat after me.
When we took that oath, we promised everybody in our country that for 4 years or for a lifetime, we'd give them the best we had. And we do every day.
Marines don't argue about should we or should we not have intervened. The mission is everything.
And a Marine, no matter how many times you knock him down, he's going to get to his feet. And that probably makes us as feared as any organization in the world.
We are the nation's first line of defense. But if you do something wrong to the country, we're the last people you want to see coming at your door. That reputation has been well earned over the last 230 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, as each of you know, we gather here today to deactivate 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines, the Island Warriors. Nearly 80 years ago, our battalion was activated in a time of need for both our Corps and our nation at the onset of World War II. Today, we deactivate our battalion when there is a need here in the Pacific. We encase the battalion colors knowing that our deactivation allows for the growth needed to create the Marine Littoral Regiment. The Island Warriors stand down today as a starting point for the Corps of today and for the future. A Marine Corps that is ready to fight now. As we look and prepare for the future, we stand here to honor the past and the present. Over the past 80 years, this battalion has fought on the islands of the Pacific, the city and village streets and jungles of Vietnam, the mountains of Afghanistan, the desert and city streets of Iraq, Bougainville, Guam, Da Nang, Quang Tri, Khe Sanh, Kuwait, Kunar, Haditha, Fallujah, and Nawa. 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines was there. The Island Warriors doing their duty for a nation and Corps we love so much. We're not at war. Our home away from home was, is, and always will be Okinawa. In times of war and peace, the Island Warriors have stood ready. And when called upon to fight, as bravely and with as much honor as could be expected of any Marine and sailor. Our comfort zone, where we thrive, is the Pacific. This ocean and its seas, the beaches, the jungles, and the mountains of the Pacific are home to us. The Pacific and 3rd Marine Division is in our blood. As Island Warriors, we will always carry with us the pride of being a Pacific battalion. This vast territory of oceans and nations with our allies and partners is home. Many of the Marines and sailors standing before you today will execute orders in the coming weeks to infantry battalions of both 1st and 2nd Marine Divisions. Our knowledge and experience, all based in the Pacific, will extend throughout the Corps. This is fitting considering we deactivate in order to deter a growing threat here in the Pacific. Our deactivation is both tangible and intangible. The tangible, we stand down to make room for the Marine Littoral Regiment, the future of our Corps. The intangible, as we move nearly 500 of these Marines and sailors to new duty stations stateside, we spread experience and knowledge of a vast area of operations, the Pacific, an area of operations few understand and must know. These men and women also take with them the Island Warrior spirit. As this stage closes, we open a multitude more for the betterment of our Corps. As I stand here today, I speak of past honors and the future. I must speak briefly directly to the men and women and the families and friends of today's Island Warriors. My greatest honor to date is to have served with you as your battalion commander. The past 19 months of a command has seen us go through an average of 75 days of ROM for each one of us. A workup that placed us in the jungles of Oahu, the lava fields on the Big Island, and the high desert of 29 Palms. A deployment that placed our Marines and sailors in Okinawa, Fuji, Piwaido Island, Busan, South Korea, and Thailand. Countless days and weeks focused on ACM and jungle warfare while deployed. We were the UDP that was not your granddad's UDP. And for the families and friends here today, over the past 19 months, your Marine or sailor has spent well over 12 months out of the 19 not at your bedside. You, as much as anybody, have shared the burden of our duty. I thank all of you, Marines, sailors, families, and friends, for your dedication to our mission and to the battalion. I will be forever grateful to have served for and with you. In closing, today we stand down. Although our battalion colors will no longer fly tomorrow, our spirit and the nature and character of the Island Warrior spreads throughout the Corps. Our Marine Corps moves forward, and we, ever faithful to the cause, move forward as well. Fortune favors the brave. We are and always will be the Island Warriors. Thank you.
To Mrs. Galliai, I understand you may be joining us online today. We are honored by your presence, and please know that you forever will be a member of the 2, 3, and 3rd Marines, Ohana. To Major General Bargeron, Brigadier General Clearfield, gentlemen, thank you for your attendance. Fellow commanders, Sergeant Major Martinet, Command Master Chief Leppert, and to Marine Corps Base Hawaii, Colonel Kumparakis and Sergeant Major Williams. Thank you all for joining us to honor the legacy of 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines. To the alumni joining us here today, and to those online, thank you for your service and dedicated sacrifice to this storied battalion. Before I speak to the future, I'd like to look to the past and honor the history, lineage, and sacrifice of 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines, a unit abounding with heroes, a unit that answered every call, and a unit that fully embraced their motto, Fortis Fortuna Juvat, fortune favors the brave. On 1 November 1943, just after a year after its activation, 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines were the first Marines to storm the beaches of Bougainville. Within the hour, they signaled a successful landing. Within 5 days, Marines had pushed 5,000 yards inland and 10,000 yards along the beach. For 27 consecutive days, 2-3 maneuvered through deep swamp, dense jungle, engaging and winning multiple encounters with enemy forces. At day 52, after fierce fighting, sickness and complete exhaustion, 2-3 was relieved from the front lines. A year after its activation, 2-3 had already cemented its mettle as a formidable fighting force. That fighting spirit that gave the enemy no rest on Bougainville did not stop there. It continued to Guam. And then to the streets and jungles of Vietnam, Desert Storm, and Desert Shield. And during the global war on terrorism, 2-3 completed 3 deployments to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, and 2 combat deployments to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. When the nation called, the Marines and sailors of 2-3 boldly answered. Additionally, today, we honor the families as part of the 2-3 Ohana that were there every step of the way, and especially those families whose loved ones did not make it home. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten. We honor the Marines of 2-3 new and old that have proven through the test of time that fortune favors the brave. Marine Corps Doctrinal Publication 1, Warfighting, states, war is both timeless and forever changing. While the basic nature of war is constant, the means and methods we use evolve continuously. While today marks a point in history, the day the island warriors deactivate, it also symbolizes a critical shift for the Marine Corps, a necessary shift to once again answer the call. A shift that General Berger outlined in his Commandant's Planning Guidance when he identified Force Design 2030 as the #1 priority. A shift to rapidly pursue new capabilities and concepts to ensure that we remain the premier crisis response force. A shift to ensure that we stay the expeditionary force in readiness, prepared to fight and win in every climb and place. A shift that enables the Marine Corps to reorganize and establish new formations like the Marine Littoral Regiment, a unit ready to fight and win against any rising threat in the Pacific. The Marines and sailors standing behind me today just returned from a forward deployment where they tested new concepts as part of the stand-in force. They stayed ready and they stayed lethal. These Marines continued to answer the call, even though the unit they call family was being deactivated. Through complete dedication and relentless effort, they displayed what has long been known: the individual Marine is the Corps' greatest asset. As the Marine Corps enters a period of change and the Marines of 2-3 move on to various units, I know our Marine Corps is in great hands with the island warriors spread throughout its ranks. Again, thank you to all the island warriors for your service and your sacrifice to the storied battalion. Semper Fidelis.